Welcome back to the Bet Canada channel. I am your host, Jeff Lloyd, and today we're going to discuss a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys, who had a down year last year, much of it due to a long, lingering injury for Dak Prescott, a key performer in what the Dallas Cowboys are going to need for a chance to get back to the playoffs in 2025. First, just a couple of quick thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys 2025 draft class. Interior offensive lineman Tyler Booker is going to slide right into an immediate start at the right guard position. The Cowboys, for years, had a pretty sound offensive line. Over the last couple of years, a little reshuffling, a little moving some guys around, and bringing some new talent in. We'll see how it ultimately plays out for this Dallas franchise. Tyler Booker was your number one overall pick, a really sneaky, nice selection in the second round, a player who most likely should have gone top 32. He has the talent, he has the athleticism, he had the production at Boston College. Donovan Ezeraku, very intriguing player who should team up with Dante Fowler Jr. as the opposite pass rusher to megastar Micah Parsons. Interesting selection in the third round, not because of the player that it is, more because the player was slated by most to go in round one. Siobhan Revell, cornerback out of East Carolina, was injured last fall during his final year at East Carolina, and most thought he would still make it into round one. Turns out he slid all the way to round three. Now, another interesting tidbit is Revel is not recuperating quite as quickly as those were hoping within the Dallas Cowboys. So we're going to have to wait and see what his ultimate availability is going to be for Dallas. And another interesting selection, running back Jaden Blue, one of the faster players in the 2025 NFL draft. And God knows the Cowboys can use any bit of speed that they can get within that running back room. Now, overall, you look at the Cowboys, and when I was talking a little bit about the changes with the offensive line, Tyler Guyton is now your full-time starting left tackle. Tyler Smith rotated around on the Cowboys offensive line. He is now in at left guard. Cooper Beebe, now in his second year, was a really nice selection and produced extremely well as the center for the Cowboys in 2024. He is now the main guy, the signal caller in the interior of the offense of line for the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, rookie Tyler Booker slated right from day one to be the starting right guard. Terrence Steele will be the right tackle for this Dallas Cowboys offense that is really going to need the offensive line to step up here in 2025. Now, the Cowboys with the running game, and I don't know how much they're going to get out of the running game this year. They brought in Javonte Williams. Like I said, they drafted Jadon Blue. But here for me is probably the interesting guy to watch within that Dallas Cowboys running back room. Miles Sanders at times was a really solid running back with the Philadelphia Eagles and went to Carolina. And essentially, it wasn't that Miles Sanders didn't perform. It's just that Chuba Hubbard was so good. Miles Sanders all of a sudden was basically a man without a job. This would be the guy within the Dallas Cowboys running back room that I would honestly keep my eye on. He's going to be slept on. No one's going to really think Sanders is a legitimate competition within that backfield, but in my opinion, could it turn out to be the guy with the most touches from that Dallas Cowboys backfield in the season 2025. But the thing we are going to look at here, and probably the biggest addition and potential addition the Cowboys made this offseason, was actually done after free agency and after the NFL draft. Former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver George Pickens. Now, George Pickens is in a contract year. And while his on play field alone with the Pittsburgh Steelers was certainly good, but Pickens had his issues, could not necessarily control his temper. At times, it got the best of him. Basically, anything and everything that was in any scouting report about George Pickens when he came out of the University of Georgia. But now he goes to Dallas and he teams with Jalen Tolbert. He teams with CeeDee Lamb. He teams with Jake Ferguson, and they all will be on the receiving end of targets from Dak Prescott. The thing with Prescott, and I'll be honest, Dak Prescott is probably one of the more underrated quarterbacks within the entire NFL. When he's healthy, all he does is year in, year out, go out and produce and puts up a large amount of passing numbers each and every year. In the end, you're ultimately graded by how far you get your team. Dallas, a couple of histories of early round playoff exits with Prescott at the helm. That's the way it looks, but don't let anybody talk you out of it. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott are a great match, and Dak Prescott has been playing great football his entire career while down in Dallas. We've been covering the NFC East. You've gotten the Eagles. You have gotten the Commanders. We're talking about the Cowboys. Next video, check out. We will talk about the New York Giants and their prospects for the 2025 season. Now, what I think makes the Pickens acquisition so good for Dallas is first and foremost, if Pickens hasn't learned by now, it's time to maybe necessarily put the nonsense to the side and focus on everything that happens on the field. Pickens has a lot at stake this season, and people have not questioned his production. And the thing where this could really work for Dallas is they are not going away from feeding CeeDee Lamb as many targets as possible. CeeDee Lamb is by far one of the best overall wide receivers in the entire NFL. With Pickens, Pickens is able to produce with a limited amount of targets. He has a high target to success rate. He is not going to all of a sudden come in here and probably see 120, 130, 140 targets like any wide receiver one would. And that's understandable. He's good, but maybe he's not there. But he has the ability to make those targets count. 2023 over 1,200 yard receiving. He has a great knack for high pointing, a great catch point radius. He catches a lot of balls that most people will feel would fall incomplete. Jalen Tolbert, along with Turpin, are great guys who get the ball in their hands and are able to create a lot of yards. Again, guys that don't necessarily have to run the long routes. You can scheme them open. You can use, some chicanery to get them involved. Jake Ferguson has really been a pleasant surprise for the Dallas Cowboys at the tight end position. They don't need a headline guy because CeeDee Lamb is just that. But Jake Ferguson has been a consistent performer for the Dallas Cowboys ever since arriving in the 2022 season. Now, getting to the defensive side of the ball, if you want, we could just probably spend the rest of this video talking about the exploits of Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, in my opinion, right up there with Myles Garrett for conversation of best overall pass rushers in the entire NFL. What makes Micah Parsons different than most other pass rushers is he can do it from anywhere. He can line up at linebacker and blitz the A gap, blitz the B gap. He can line up as a straight edge and run past the left tackle, can run right past the right tackle. He can line up in the interior, and his quickness and bull strength is enough to beat up on a bunch of interior pass rushers. Like I said, Dante Fowler at the other edge, but also keep an eye on rookie Donovan Ezeraku. He just did everything Boston College asked him to do. He was by far the one guy that the opposing offense was scheming to take away week in, week out, and it just never happened. Ezeraku ran amok in opposing teams' backfields in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. What is really interesting for Dallas is going to be the linebacker room and the secondary. Kenneth Murray comes over from Tennessee. DeMarvion over shown they're waiting on him to return from injury. He has shown well in his limited time with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys expect him to be a high tackle total guy. They really need him to come back and come back quickly. The secondary is where it can get really interesting. Trayvon Diggs, the return of Deron Bland, and like I talked about earlier, the rookie Siobhan Ravel Jr. All big, all long, all with great ball skills. This is the potential of your top three cornerbacks to create a lot of turnovers. We all know what Bland did and probably had every right to feel that he was the 2023 Defensive Player of the Year. The key is every one of them kind of has their dings. Bland is coming back from injury. Diggs has certainly suffered injuries. And as we know, the rookie Rebel is going through it as well. The safeties, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker here now from his days over with originally with the Indianapolis Colts. This is a good secondary. And I think the way this secondary, with their ball skills and the ability to intercept opposing passers, really blends well with a mega pass rusher in Micah Parsons, who certainly have friends who can work with him to make the opposing quarterback's day hell. Now, the Cowboys are in a tough spot here. Washington has really made a leap. Philadelphia, we know, is the defending Super Bowl champions. But if Dallas can ride what their strengths are, which is a great passing game, and if Pickens can clips that 1,000-yard mark to go along with whatever crazy amount of production you're going to get from CD Lamb, should be very beneficial. They will get after the quarterback a lot. They will get to the quarterback and get him to the ground a lot, led by Micah Parsons. And in doing that and keeping the quarterback pressured, could be a possibility where the Dallas Cowboys lead the NFL in interceptions in 2025. We appreciate you guys for watching this video. YouTube thinks that you will love it. So make sure you check it out and all the other videos we got coming a month away from NFL training camps. This is Jeff Lloyd from the Bet Canada Challenge, and we will see you next time.